Hey everyone, Andrew here, Melbourne Superman, and I've got my green, not kryptonite crystal, and bonus points if you get the reference on my shirt, because today we are going to react to Superman 2. So obviously, this is in follow-up to my reaction to Superman the movie. These movies are some things that I've been with forever. I mean, I've watched them so many different times, but I've never actually done a sort of vocal commentary on them other than when I say if I watched them with Aaron. Obviously we'd be talking about them. But so it'll be interesting to see. I've chosen a few moments, a bunch of different moments from the movie to talk a little bit about. Of course, if you haven't, go back and check out my reaction to Superman the movie. And I'll preface this by saying it's really hard to pick out the moments. I could speak about these movies for hours. I might do that one day. I might do like an audio commentary, sort of Richard Donner style, on all the movies and just record myself doing that, and then I will give you, say, a cue, as in you watch the movie along with me. I'll have my headphones in so you only hear your movie and you hear me talking about it. I don't know, maybe that's a bit too, I don't know, on the nose? I don't know, maybe? But well, anyway, without further ado, here's Superman 2. This is the theatrical cut, not the Donner cut. I might do the Donner cut one day, but this is the one that I grew up with, and that's the one that I will be reacting to. So let's get some energy, let's get some knowledge, let's get some power, and some powers back. Here we go. So we're back here on Krypton, and we get to see a little bit more of, don't you knock the tripod. We get to see a little bit more of why Zod and Nan and Ursa are on trial. We never really understand what this crystal is or what it does, other than by breaking it, it sends a direct signal to the council to, hey, let's trap these guys. I never really understood that. I don't know that anybody would. I think it's just a little bit of some kind of, I don't know that you would call it exposition really, but it just puts us there. And of course, Jor-El, Marlon Brando, is noticeably missing in this scene because he famously, of course, I don't know if it's famous, but he didn't come back for Superman 2, which of course, why we get Susanna York a little bit later on, which is absolutely brilliant. And of course, we have not Marlon Brando's voice saying the same lines that Marlon Brando said in Superman the movie. Now, there's a lot of times where I might not have the actual film on the screen for you to watch, but I'll try to make sure that I have at least so that I can hear the audio, just depending on what I could find and how I could edit it. So, of course, they're trapped back into the Phantom Zone, and Terrence Stamp says something very different. So he normally would have said, you, and then one day your heirs. In this, he says, you will bow down before me, Jor-El, and then both you and then again, Jor-El. It's weird. Also, he doesn't pronounce the J as a J, it's a Y. Fun fact, in the first movie, I always just thought he was saying both you and then one day your ASS, not your heirs. So I always thought that was weird until I found out that he was saying heirs. And we've got now the recap of what's happened in Superman the movie. We get this brilliant shot of Metropolis, New York City, and the Twin Towers, man. And you can listen to the music, which is, of course, material originally composed by John Williams, but it is not John Williams doing it again. And if you listen to it, and I've listened to this thousands of times, you can pick up on the nuances that are different. Like if you go and listen to the beats and how it gets into certain things, some beats take a little bit too long, or funnily enough, sometimes the music just doesn't make sense. Like there's a couple of times where it holds the vamp like in a weird, like odd number of beats, which those of you who are musos or have an ear for this stuff, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But so we've got of course the recap of the first movie, which I always enjoy, you know. It's just a nice way to make the opening 5 minutes or so a little bit more exciting to those who might not really be okay with just the music. So we're back in the Daily Planet. And we've got Christopher Reeve, Clark Kent, walking in, of course, trying to help this guy, and his bumbling self kind of just makes it worse. And then I love this Sean Connery, James Bond bit we're about to see. Boom. I always found it a little bit hard to believe that Clark Kent slash Superman wouldn't have known what was going on. I feel like he's been Superman for a little while now. He's kind of gotten the point of the job. I don't know that I believe that he wouldn't have known that this was happening in Paris. I don't know. Terrorists? He's great. He's so great. I love Jackie Cooper. Fun fact, Jackie Cooper was not originally meant to play Perry White. It was kind of like a last minute thing, and it worked out really well. You couldn't have delivered that line any better. That's why they called them terrorists, Ken. Now we're about to get into probably my favorite. I know I said in the last movie, but this is my favorite time. This is my favorite way that he turns into Superman. Just amazing. With the music and how he flies off. Of course, with the... I will say, it's interesting. I've always noticed that S in the alleyway, and that's got to be done on purpose, but I don't know. It's just like a weird little coincidence, if not. I love how he turns into Superman. I really want to replicate that with David Frumholtz, who obviously has filmed my Quest for Peace speech. I mean, come on. I love that line. I love the look he gives her when... You all right? And see, I love that. He's just so, I know. And it's just like, I've got this, it's okay. It's reassuring. I have to admit, though, I feel like I love this shot. That's very cool looking. Where he pushes the elevator away. The lift, probably, as it's known in Paris, or something French. I must say, I'm not a huge fan of... I am a huge fan, don't get me wrong, but I think the flying scenes in this movie are a little bit weaker than in Superman the movie. What kind of a creature are you? God, the amazing Sarah Douglas. A very intimidating presence to come across on the moon. And I love this little quirk that they give her, that she just wants these patches for reasons. It's a nice little quirk that we didn't need, but it adds just a little bit of depth to the character. And wow, what a horrific way to go. Bummer. I love this scene with Lex and Otis getting away from prison, where just coincidentally and conveniently the guards are watching the ball game, and this guy was obviously just looking at the spotlight, and he just turned away after it shone on Lex and Otis, and he just didn't see them for some reason. Also, I love how Lex says, you know, if Otis says, well, what am I looking for? That kind of thing. And Lex is like, you'll know when you see it. I'm like, if I'm Lex, I'm not leaving that to chance, especially with somebody like Otis. If this is my prison break, I'm telling him exactly what he's looking for, because I know Otis will screw this up. I mean, I guess you can't really miss a ladder, although he does miss it twice. Poor Otis. I don't know why I always used to find that so funny. But it's also so mean. It's like, do you know what? Do you remember that Miss Tessmacher was the one in the last movie that sort of betrayed you, and you're leaving Otis behind? He's like a poor little puppy dog. Bummer. This always used to freak me out. Like, It's kind of like fake tension because you know Superman's going to get there. He's in Niagara Falls, but it's just like, oh, that's so scary. I wonder how many times it actually happens. See, now that's an interesting. Whenever I used to watch this, when he gets that kid, it sounds like he's saying "ow." There's some weird sound mixing going on there, but the "ow" sounds kind of like it came from like a 25-year-old as opposed to the 8-year-old kid this is. So I don't know what that actually is. Um, there's some weird just sound mixing in this. Like when he's flying up, there's an old lady who just funnily says, "Of course he's Jewish." I love that. I think it's funny, and also a nice throwback to his creators. See, this is where it makes sense that she starts to put together why or how. What's the word I'm looking for? Puts together that Superman and Clark are one and the same. I just love the musical notes, underneath what she's saying. It's really well done. It's the music in these movies. Say what you will about any of them, but the music in these movies is so very well done. I mean, all of them. I mean, the even the criminal themes like Lex Luthor in the first movie, and of course the Kryptonians theme in this film. I will say there are a few moments in Superman 3 where the music, I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of strange. But overall, I love the music, especially in Superman 4. Some of that music is very, very good. We'll get there. And here we got Susanna York. I love her in this movie. I think I'm so sad that she was sort of underutilized in the first movie, and I'm glad that we got to see her again. I mean, I guess it doesn't really make sense because why would this not be Jor-El? Logistically, we know why it's not Jor-El. But I can overlook that because it's just nice to see Susanna York on the screen doing this, and I think she tells this story very well. Interestingly enough, do they not know what water is on Krypton? I would imagine that they would know what water is, considering in this universe their planet is pretty much all ice and snow. You'd have to imagine that they drink water. Of course, this actor here, again, his name escapes me. I should really have done my research. But we see him again in Superman 3. I love this. I love this. This is where you really see that change. I mean, you see it in the Superman the movie in her apartment when he's about to tell her who he is, but doesn't. But you really see a change between Clark and Superman here. He raises up. It's just amazing to me. Like, you know it's the same actor. You know it's the same scene, but he takes off his glasses, he stands a different way, and to me, this is the epitome of why nobody knows that Clark is Superman. See, when I was a kid, I didn't realize that he was saying it's another way of him saying my superior is the president. I thought he was just saying, I won't answer you. I don't answer anyone. I literally only answer questions from the president. That's where my mind was when I was a kid. But also, he doesn't know what water is, but he knows that stars are our military's sort of denotation of a general. I don't know if I buy that. I hate that he gives his powers up. I get why. I love the way that Susanna York delivers this, though. Susanna York's look just there. And then Margot Kidder relives her days on Amityville Horror by watching the terror that's about to ensue inside this chamber.
Gee, I think perhaps somebody ought to teach you some manners, sir.
Yeah? Well, let me know when he comes in.
This guy's such a jerk.
Excuse me, sir, would you care to step outside?
Also, he's never called Lois honey. I never really liked that line.
Now listen, Rocky, your steak's coming right up.
Man.
Keep it on the flame, Ron. This is just a minute steak.
This guy, I don't know who this actor is, but I just really enjoy his performance. He's very good. Like, you just kind of like, you love to hate him. And just the way that he sizes up Clark and just like looks at him. Like, if I'm this guy and I'm looking at Clark, who's clearly taller and broader than me, I'm not that confident, but he also looks like he's like old school, you know, he's got like old man strength. He's not old, but he's just like one of those guys who's like, you know what, I work for a living, I will kill you.
Boy, you just don't have enough sense to stay down, do you?
Oh, man. That escalated.
I don't like your meat anyway.
Poor Clark.
Well, I really wish you could hear me.
It's a great scene, but it should have started out with Mother because they didn't have Susanna York. Obviously, I can't remember, it's been so long since I've seen the Donner cut, but I'm pretty sure in the Donner cut, obviously they have Marlon Brando, so this makes more sense. Still a great scene. There it is. Well, here we are back at the Daily Planet. I love that reaction. Love the sound effects there where it actually sounds like steel. It's just, I don't know. Some of it's a bit too campy, but some of it's just fun.
You promised me the son of Jerome.
I love how like disappointed Terrence Stamp is in this scene. He's like, you promised me. And just it's just like, he's like a big child, and it works for this character. Like, it just really works. I love this. I love how he comes back. The music showing up.
General? Would you care to step outside?
Superman.
Superman, thank God. I mean,
Everybody, this antenna's falling. Don't just stand there and duck. Like, get out of the way. I mean, I guess you'd be that afraid, maybe you freeze up in fear, but that thing's been falling for 15 minutes. Again, that Superman, that Christopher Reeve smile. I think this is actually where Superman, he's not afraid. That's not why he runs away, make no mistake. I think this, though, that look, this is him realizing that he can't keep this fight here. This is him realizing that he's got to take the fight somewhere else. I don't think it's fear. This is him realizing that he can't do what they did in Man of Steel. Sorry.
no star at all.
I expect better manners from my guest stars.
Also one of my favorite lines. Whenever somebody trolls anybody on social media, I'm like, I expect better manners. Also, this used to be my favorite as a kid, the Cellophane S. I know people hate it. I loved it. I still love it. I think it's fun.
We must combine our strength.
This is where we start getting powers that we've not seen before. That I don't quite know what they are. kind of akin to the mortar vision that we see in Superman 4, which we'll get into later on.
Don't go in there, General. It's a trap. You poisonous snake.
I love that insult. It's so great. You poisonous snake. It's so good. God, his look of just defeat. I mean, we know what's coming. Best bait and switch ever. Any of you Zod cosplayers that want to recreate this scene, let me know. I'm looking at you, Magister Cosplay. Oh, the sound effects. Jesus. And the music is just... I will always love the music. Murder. Manslaughter.
He switched it. He did it to them. I mean, the lights were on out here. While he was safe in there.
There's the meme, the GIF, rather.
You're a real pain in the neck.
And murder again. Also, side note, I always thought that Lois was saying thwap, like some kind of a comic book effect. I don't know that that's what she's saying. I think she's just saying ha or something. Maybe she is saying thwap. I don't know. The emotion behind Margot Kidder here is like literally watching a breakup unfold, and you feel for her so much because we've all been there, right? We've all had heartache. We've all had heartbreak.
I like worrying about you.
Would you stop? Don't you know that this is killing me? You know what it's like?
Bro.
Have you come here every morning and not be able to talk to you?
Like not being able to speak, like because you're that hysterical. Like we've all been there. It's just an amazing performance. Just don't call me late for dinner. Dad joke. Is being a dad a prerequisite? Stepdaughter. Honorary stepdaughter. Do it. Kiss me, I have superpowers, but you don't know that because you've kissed me. I do believe that this is something that they have addressed in comics. So I think that this is something that has been done in the comic books before. So it's not like out of completely nowhere. But also it raises more questions than answers. Especially in Superman Returns when he shows up and he has a kid. But we don't need to. We'll talk about that one at some point, I'm sure. All right.
All right, Ron. Yeah? Give me another plate of this garbage.
It's my number one special.
This always made me want to go to a diner and get like a diner meal. I miss the diners in America.
That's funny. Never seen garbage eat garbage before.
Ha ha ha! I love that line though. And what we're about to see, I think, is a little bit... It's kind of like not in Superman's character to go out for revenge, so I kind of feel like that's a bit much. But also, to be fair, sort of a lot more forgivable than sort of what we see in Man of Steel, where he basically takes the guy's livelihood, his truck, and puts it into a position of never being able to be used again. You know what scene I'm talking about. Oh, good for you, man. Push him into that pinball machine. Do it! Do it! Definitely he's going to vomit. Push him in. Go. Oh, yeah. Bummer, though. Steak and eggs, man. Love steak and eggs.
This order's to go. I'm terribly sorry about all the damage, sir.
I'd love to know how much money that is. I can see fives. I'm gonna assume there's a few $100s there. That's probably enough in the early 80s to pay for a pinball machine, I think. Classic image. Of course, the fountains that don't actually move.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Sorry I've been away so long. I won't let you beverage yet.
Mm. There's that sign off. There he goes. And the smile. Coming soon, Superman 3. The Richard Pryor Superman movie, which we'll get into next time. So that's some of my commentary on Superman 2. Bro, calm yourself. Superman 2. So again, I could speak hours on these movies, and I only scratched the surface. I think, as critical as it probably sounds like I was on this one, I think Superman 2 is kind of my favorite Superman out of the original 4, just because of some of the different moments and everything. But yeah, so there you go. So I will, of course, have Superman 3 and 4 coming soon. Make sure that you subscribe, comment, turn on the notifications bell so you can see when those videos come. Follow me at Melbourne Superman on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.